What if the first useful humanoid robot does not actually walk? That is what makes the Kinisi KR1 interesting. This robot is built for warehouses, logistics, and manufacturing, but instead of trying to balance on two legs like a sci fi humanoid, it rolls around on wheels. And honestly, that might be the smartest part. A lot of humanoid robots look impressive in demos, but walking is hard. Walking wastes energy, adds complexity, and makes the robot more expensive. Kinesi seems to be going in a different direction. Keep the useful parts of a humanoid, the arms, the cameras, the ability to walk around human environments, but put all of that on a stable wheeled base. So, this is less robot butler and more warehouse worker with wheels. According to Kinesi, the KR1 is designed for real industrial tasks: picking items, moving goods, handling totes, working in storerooms, doing replenishment, inspection, palletizing, and other repetitive physical jobs. The specs are actually solid. Kinesi lists a top speed of 2.4 meters per second, a 25 kilogram dynamic payload, and a 40 kilogram static payload, and a typical runtime of 6 to 8 hours. And that seems incredible. A 6 to 8 hour long battery. It uses a hot swappable 48-volt lithium battery pack, stereo depth cameras, a LiDAR with SLAM, and onboard NVIDIA Jetson compute. That matters because this robot is not just remote controlled hardware. Kinesi is pitching it as an autonomous industrial robot with onboard intelligence. In theory, that means it can make decisions locally instead of needing the cloud for every movement. And now the big question: can you actually buy one? Right now, it does not look like a normal consumer product where you just click add to cart. Right now, it does not look like a normal consumer product where you just click add to cart. Kinesi's website pushes people toward contacting the company about becoming a customer. That usually means pilots, business deployments, and direct sales conversations, not public retail availability. Price is also where this gets interesting. Kinesi does not appear to list an official public price on its own site, but reports from Automate 2025 said the robot could cost around $4,000 per month, which sounds more like a robotics as a service than a normal one-time purchase. And this is where the hype needs to slow down, because $4,000 a month is not cheap for warehouse labor. Warehouse labor is usually treated as entry-level labor. That does not mean the work is easy. It means companies act like almost anyone can be trained to do it, so they keep the pay low. A lot of warehouse workers make less than $3,000 a month before taxes. So if this robot is supposed to replace one regular warehouse worker, the math may not work. And that is the brutal part. Robotics companies love to talk about replacing labor, but warehouse labor is already some of the cheapest labor in the economy. This robot is not competing against a software engineer or a specialized technician. It is competing against entry-level physical labor. So the KR1 cannot just be cool, it has to outperform low-wage human labor. It has to work longer hours. It has to make fewer mistakes. It has to avoid injuries. It has to handle boring, repetitive tasks without quitting. It has to maybe cover multiple roles across a shift. Because at $4,000 a month, this thing is not replacing one warehouse worker. It needs to replace a problem. That problem might be turnover. It might be staffing shortages. It might be overnight shifts. It might be repetitive lifting injuries. It might be a task that humans hate doing all day. But if the job is simple, the worker is available, and the wage is low, then the robot has a tough battle. That is why the wheeled design matters. A two-legged humanoid might be more flexible in theory, but a wheeled mobile manipulator is probably easier to deploy in the real world. Warehouses already have flat floors, aisles, shelves, carts, totes, and structured workflows. You do not need a robot to climb stairs if the job is mostly moving boxes across a warehouse. So Kinisi may be aiming at the more practical version of the humanoid robot future. Not a robot that looks exactly like a human, but a robot that can use human-like arms in human-built workplaces. That is a part I find interesting. A lot of robotics companies are chasing the dream of a general-purpose humanoid. Kinisi seems to be asking a more direct question. What if we just build a robot that can actually work? So my quick verdict is this. The Kinisi KR1 is not something most people can buy today like a hobby robot or a desktop 3D printer. It appears to be aimed at businesses, pilots, and industrial deployments. The public price is not fully clear, but the reported number is around $4,000 per month. The concept is strong, but the business case is not guaranteed. A robot with wheels, arms, onboard AI, depth cameras, LiDAR, hot swappable batteries, and warehouse-focused manipulation might be more realistic than a flashy humanoid trying to walk like a person. But the warehouse industry is built on low-cost, human labor. And competing with that is harder than building a cool demo. And that's all, folks.